Sports Rep Show. My name is Limba Mupetami. Welcome to the Sports Rep Show again. Let's get into the hit list segment of today's edition. Preparations for the Fast 5 tournament faced a bit of a challenge as they could not get enough training due to persistent rain over the few days. Manuel Shephards said they could not train in any way, or rather in a way they needed to, and that he doesn't believe that they will reach the fitness level they want. The Cup tournament will take place tomorrow at the Trasco United Courts and will see 12 teams competing. Top Olympic cyclist and the country's greatest in the last 17 years, Dan Craven has retired from professional cycling events. He has, however, indicated that if selected by the Namibian Cycling Federation for the Commonwealth Games taking place in Birmingham this July, he would participate. Craven took part in the Nedbank Cycle Challenge last weekend. He didn't make the podium finish, which was won by Alex Miller. Now with that, let's now move over to the In the Pipeline segment of today's edition. A highly experienced Wilberforce Black Mamba Shihepo is waiting in anticipation to strike at young and fresh Vidall Riley on Saturday in a cruiserweight 4-round fight in Manchester, England. Shihepo's 24-year-old opponent only has 4 fights, all of them wins, that is. Now, in order to give his 2 cents on this fight, boxing and in boxing in general, we brought in PJ Amunyela to speak on this fight. Thereafter, you can also listen to a clip of Shihepo's promoter and trainer, Immanuel AC Moses' response. And then right after that, we will go for a break. So enjoy this. Okay, PJ, I wanted us to speak about Saturday's fight, the cruiserweight 4-rounder, which is Wilberforce Shihepo versus Vidall Riley of England. Now, what do you think are Shihepo's chances against Vidall, who is, of course, 24 years old, and Shihepo is at the moment 38 years old? What do you think are his chances for tomorrow?
Okay, well, it's a very brilliant question. Number one, it's about boxing. It's all about the night. It's all about the night. But then I know Shihepo. I've been watching Shihepo fighting back home and also abroad. And the other guy, his opponent, it's a guy that when they announced the fight, I went to check him out. And looking at the stages that he fought at big stages. Of course, he's young, he's hungry. Apart from him being a YouTuber or a comedian whatsoever, he can hit. And I saw him dropping guys in the ring. So, of course, I'm rooting for my countrymen. I want the best for Shihepo, but we need to face reality sometimes because Riley is, I think he stands better chance compared to Shihepo.
And now, having followed the likes of Shihepo, do you think that he put in the time to prepare for this fight?
Personally, I don't think that he. I don't believe he did, because Namibians, we are now having a habit of promoters taking boxers abroad for fight as short notice or maybe replacements, and that it's gambling when it's come, because it's gambling because it's by God's grace. You don't know how far his opponent have been working out or preparing for that particular fight. And I was looking at the interview of Shihepo's opponent, and he had been preparing himself for quite a long time, and he even spoke that he's going for a knockout. So I don't think Shihepo really put in the effort that he was supposed to put in for a stage of that, for a fight of that magnitude. And looking also at his previous fights that he fought abroad, he lost all of them. I think 5, if not 6. In Russia, he have traveled around, but he didn't win any. So I believe what will he bring on the table, which will be different this time.
So we know that boxing is obviously it's about money, but do you think that the boxing promoters are just taking fights, to at the end of the day get paid, and not really looking at promoting or rather advancing the career of the boxers that they are taking to the States and to the likes of Europe?
Yeah, no, the biggest challenge that we have in Namibia, more especially with the promoters, is that they don't have boxers at heart. So I believe they care more about their percentage when it comes to boxers. But again, now looking at the stage where Shihepo is, he's at the edge of his career, and he have nothing to lose, whether he win or whether he lose, because it's a paycheck for him. So him going to fight at that stage, if let me say for example, he's promised an amount of 200,000. That 200,000 will push him somewhere rather than him being possibly at home, and it's COVID and businesses are not really doing well. But on the other hand, it's a sad thing to see our country fellow brothers going out and losing to these other European guys, and we are already aware that these guys are advanced when it comes to equipment, preparation, nutrition, everything. So it becomes a gamble. It becomes a gamble, and our promoter really, I believe, a lot of promoters in Namibia do not have the boxers at heart, and all they care about is the money and not the repetition. Because I often tell people about the repetition. You don't need to go die in the ring. You should know when it's enough, more especially when you are reaching an age of 39. You are old. What more are you? What is it that you want to achieve? But well, if it's a paycheck, if he wins, it's a good paycheck for him, and they will call him back again to use him for other exhibitions or whatever fight they might have. Sometimes they are using our boxers as a stepping step for them for their boxers to be ranked at world titles. Because when you have the likes of Shihepo on your record that you have beaten, then it boosts your record. Your repetition as a boxer. Yeah,
speaking about the likes of the US using Namibian boxers as stepping stones. If you look at boxers such as Julius Indongo, if you look at the boxers such as Paulus Ambunda, for instance, some of these guys who consistently don't train sometimes, and they just turn up because there's a fight, 2 months fight, he needs to train for 2 months. Do you really think that the likes of Julius Indongo should still be fighting at this moment, or maybe focusing on grooming the next great boxer that might stand a chance against some of the US counterparts?
Well, when I'm talking about, for example, if I was to give you my best top fighter locally, I would not mention the like of Julius Indongo or the Rokambuda. Of course, they are legends. Of course, they have achieved what they have achieved. Let's talk about Indongo in particular. He's a 3-time world champion, the first ever Namibian to reach that stage, And if I was his manager, if I was part of his team, I could have advised him to step aside and leave boxing already by the time he lost to Terence Crawford, because you have lost by a bigger guy who is also well known, is #1 pound for pound in the world. Even when you are going home, you are going clean and with a good repetition. Now, when you come from a stage of a 3-time world title, and then you come back to start on the grassroots where you are fighting in Tanzania and you are fighting nobodies, or you're fighting these regional titles. Come on, from a 3-title world title, now you're fighting for a regional title. What is it that you want to achieve anymore at that stage? So I think, like, as for Indongo, I think it's really time for him to focus on his businesses and possibly focus on grooming younger world champions, because of course they've got the exposure. He knows how it feels to be a champion. He was at the stage, at that bigger stage, so he got nothing to lose. But now when you have management who don't understand the importance of a repetition, because when you're a legend you need to keep that legacy, you understand? Because now when you become a losing somebody or a losing boxer, it brings you to a point where people also lose the respect that they had for you. Because if you look at the comments, for example, when Indongo is going to fight, it's disturbing, it's humiliating to us boxing lovers, you understand? So, but should he have stopped by the time where he lost by the best? By now he could still have the name. Let's talk about Harry Simon, for example. Harry Simon is a one-time world champion, or two-time world champion, two different divisions, and he stopped boxing at the best of his career. You know, and that's why if you look at Namibians and we talk about the best boxer in Namibia, everybody will tell you Harry Simon. Why? Simply because when he stopped fighting, he never lost to anybody. His repetition was good, and he kept his repetition. You understand? But now, what people don't differentiate between Harry Simon and Indongo is about who have achieved bigger or great stuff. What Harry Simon have achieved is something that Indongo have bypassed it, because Indongo was having 3 world titles at the same time, making him the greatest Namibia ever produced. You understand? But now if you bring them at the same stage there, the respect that the people, the Namibian people will give the two boxers, they will sideline Indongo regardless of what he have achieved, because of how he had been losing and who he was losing to. Indongo have lost to a lot of nobodies, which is really, really sad. And I think Namibian boxers should adjust, and the upcoming boxers should also have a great team where they have people on board who understand about the image, about how one should keep the repetition, how one should behave both in public and in private. So because I think those are very crucial elements that we don't have in Namibian boxing promotion management here in our country.
Okay, now in conclusion, PJ, if you could just give some advice to some of the boxing stables, the promoters of these stables, the likes of Nestor Tobias, the likes of Salute, what would your message be to these guys?
Okay, I want to take a header for Sunshine, simply because I saw him losing all his titles with his boxes, and I saw how he came back and he changed the whole strategy to him having 4 titles. Right now, I think you have 2 regional titles, and then you have 1 WBO global, and these are all young, fresh and bred. So when you look at guys like Nesta and Salute, these are guys that they are not struggling because they are very fortunate to be sponsored by MTC, and they are being sponsored by a lot of money. I believe that these guys should really invest money into boxes. They should take themselves, or they should revive from this whole thing of putting themselves first. You know, because it's very sad how promoters are getting money from sponsorships, and then they are using boxers, or they are calling boxers from all corners of Namibia and Africa, just for them to pay them peanuts. The well-being of boxers in Namibia is not protected, and that's why we are really working hard to come up with a union to protect boxers. Because how on earth do you have a fighter who's fighting for 11 million, for example, and then you are going to pay the boxer only 3 million, and the rest is just because you're a promoter? You understand? These are a lot of things that need to be changed. And also the Boxing Control Board. The Boxing Control Board need to pull up their socks, because they are really sleeping on duty. Simply because, number one, when they are approving fights, they don't even look at opponents. Imagine somebody fighting for a regional title who have a bunch of losses, and he's going to fight somebody who's great. Another prospect who have no loss, and now we have same people in the same caliber, but because this is from a different promotion, or because you are beefing with a different promotion, you don't want fighters to fight. Reason why we have boxers, they are claiming they are good, but when they go to America, they got schooled. And it's embarrassing. We want to see Namibian boxers fighting each other for very good titles. If MTC is having a WBO middleweight champion, for example, and Salute is having a similar challenger, why don't these two opponents fight to each other? Because at the end of the day, you are from the same promotion. I mean, you guys are being sponsored by one company, and you are investing money. It's been a while that we have seen really great fights in Namibia, because all they try to do is personal beef, and they are leaving boxers alone. And sadly, because these promoters are beefing, they are also now recruiting upcoming boxers to beef each other instead for them to work together. So that's just one a very, very important message that I want to send out to all promoters. Guys, let's put our beef aside. Let's put our differences aside. It's very okay to differ, but when it comes to the sport, let's pull together to make Namibia great. We want to see a person going out to fight, and we have the courage, and we are all supporting, and we believe in that person. When Harry Salmon used to go fight abroad, every Namibian, nobody will sleep because we know what he will produce. But now it's a thing of, you talk about boxing, they will even ask you who is who. You understand? It's long overdue that all the promoters in the country should put their difference aside. And they should also, I think Namibian promoters some promoters should stop crying with MTC, because a lot of them are crying because MTC have sponsored now Nesta and Salute. So they are all focusing or flocking to the one sponsorship from MTC. But guys, we have bigger companies in Namibia. We have got Namdia, we got Namdeb, we got the brewery. Just promoters should learn, and I think it's very important for them to have qualified public relation officers or marketing officers to go and market them to this bigger company for them to get sponsorship, because we are really overloading MTC.
Thank you so much, PJ.
I hope it was not bad.
Wait.
Good morning, Limba. So thank you for having me in your show once again. So you even make sure that you contact me even when I'm not in the country. So now, as I'm here in Manchester, United Kingdom, for Shihepo versus Vidall. So first of all, I want to thank everybody for following us. And I know people only follow you when you do something, you see. And whether they say the good things or the bad things, as long as they talk about you, that's more important. There are even people who nobody mentioned their names. So for Shihepo, this is a great fight for him. He's fighting an unexperienced fighter, but a young fighter with the name Vidall Riley, and who is an entertainer. If you remember, he was in a show whereby he was training KSI, the first guy who fought Paul Logan. So this fight for Shihepo, it's a great fight, and I choose this fight because I look at his age and I look what he have, what he can deliver, and I feel like it's a very safe fight for him. It's a winnable fight for Shihepo, so he can go there and be himself, use his experience, and of course dominate and get the victory. So Vidall, he's one of those guys that are well known, so they can sell tickets, and of course he also loved boxing, and then he did amateur boxing, and then now he wants to become a professional boxer. So he doesn't have really a lot of fights, and he is approved by the British Control Board, and as well as Shihepo approved by the Namibia Boxing Control Board. So for
Go far with Paratus. Go further with Paratus Fiber. Paratus, offering high-speed, reliable fiber connectivity, starting from only 599 Namibian dollars per month. Unlimit your lifestyle and visit na.paratus.africa for more information.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Well, very much long interviews rather there with PJ, as well with Immanuel, speaking about the weekend's boxing and boxing in general in Namibia. Now, welcome to this section, or rather the segment of Your Take. Now, before the brave gladiators faced Zambia in the first leg of the Africa Women Cup of Nations, there was some drama on social media. Now, the marketing officer of the Namibia Football Association, Cassius Mweti, who is presently with the team and that is also playing the role of media officer, went on to write on Facebook what has been described as sexist remarks on the association's page. Now, the post has since been removed. However, no apology came from Mweti or the NFA regarding this. Now, the post reads something like this. Most Zambian men, especially those who have no interest in football, according to social media, are apparently buying entrance tickets to enter the stadium tomorrow afternoon. Now, Mweti said that some of the Zambian men commented on social media that very few brave gladiators will return to Namibia as they want to marry the team, leaving coach Woody Jacobs with a serious challenge to start building a new team. Now, some of the people who commented on this post said that it was quite sexist, especially at a time when women footballers are fighting to be recognized in the men's game. Now, with that, let's take another break, and then once we get back, we are going to international news.
Swiping or tapping your FNB Visa card is the safest, easiest, most rewarding way to transact. Because if you swipe your FNB Visa debit or credit card 3 times a month, you'll automatically be entered into the draw to win your share of a mammoth 250,000 Namibian dollars. Competition ends 15 February 2022. T's, C's and rules apply. Switch to FNB, Bank of the Changeables.
Good day everyone, it's time for international sport, and we start off as per usual with the Winter Olympic Games, the 24th Winter Olympic Games currently taking place in Beijing in China. To start off with the women's figure skating, that was quite in the news this week, actually for the wrong reasons, because Kamila Valieva, the 15-year-old, there was alleged doping allegations that was against her, and unfortunately for her, she didn't do well on the second day of the figure skating, and she finished in 4th position. Winner there was Anna Sherbikova of Russia. She's also young, 17 years old, and Alexandra Trisova, she from Russia, she was in 2nd place, and Kaoru Sakamoto of Japan took out 3rd. So Kamila Valieva, lots of pressure on her, unfortunately, with all the doping allegations. She was allowed to compete, but that was still an investigation that's going on for her doping allegations. She was leading after the first day on the short program, but on the second day on the free skating, she fell a few times, and she didn't finish in the top 3. Also from the Olympics, the men's ski cross took place. It's a very unique event where 4 skiers go down the slopes together in the race. And there it was Ryan Perez of Switzerland that won. Alexander Fever of his countryman of him, also from Switzerland, was in 2nd place. And then Sergei Ritzik of Russia was in 3rd. Also news from the curling at the Olympic Games is that the final will be between Great Britain and Sweden. It was Great Britain that beat the USA in the quarterfinals, and Sweden beat Canada, and that final is yet to be played. But in the bronze medal, that was already played, and it was Canada that beat the USA by 8-5. Now we continue with some cricket news. It's South Africa, the Proteas, that's playing a 5-day test in New Zealand in Christchurch. Very tough at the moment, tough going for the South Africans after day 2 of that test. It was South Africa that batted first, just made 95 runs, and it was New Zealand that made 482 in their first innings. It's almost that the 2 teams are playing on different pitches, and then South Africa had to bat again in the second innings late on day 2, and they again struggled. They 34 for the loss of 3 wickets, so they're heading for innings defeat here. That is the Proteas. They still trail by 353 runs to make New Zealand bat again. And then India, the women's team of India is also touring New Zealand at the moment. And news from the 3rd one day is that India batted first, made 279 in the 50-over game, but New Zealand made the runs for the loss of only 7 wickets, or for the loss of 7 wickets, and they lead that series, the 5-day series, now by 3-0. In the main circuit, it is West Indies that tour India at the moment. It was the first T20 game that was played. West Indies batted first, 157 for 7 they made, and it was India that knocked off the runs for the loss of only 4 wickets. They win by 6 wickets, 160 for 4. That was India's reply. So they lead the 3 ODI series by 1-0. And now on to Formula One racing news, and it was the former race director, Michael Macy. He was, the news from Formula One is that he's been relieved of his position as race director, and that is obviously because of events that happened last year, right at the end of the season, when there was controversy in when he allowed passing cars to go by and allowed Max Verstappen to beat Lewis Hamilton for the title. So he's been removed. He's going to be replaced by two people that will do the job. They will alternate, and that is Niels Witzig and also Eduardo Freitas. So that's two race directors that's going to be in action there. And news from the Formula One is that seems like Lewis Hamilton did decide, or there's indications that he will, strong indications that he will race for Mercedes this year again, try to win his 8th title. And tennis news is we start off with the Dubai Duty Free Women's Tournament. That's a WTA 500 tournament. And there it was Simone Halep. She went through. She beat Ole Haber, the 8th seed, by 6-4, 6-3. And she will go through and meet in the semifinals. She will meet Yelena Ostripova. That is in the semi-finals, as I said. Then in the men's circuit, it is the Qatar Open that's taking place. A result or two from the quarterfinals. Number 1 seed, Denis Shapovalov, he's out. He lost to French player Arthur Redknapp, and the score there was 6-4 and 6-4. And we conclude the international news with the golf news that is on the PGA Tour in America. It is the Genesis Invitational that is taking place in California. And the leader there after the first round is Joachim Niemann of Chile. And he came in with a 63, that's 8 under par. On 5 under par in second place together is Jordan Spieth of America and Scotty Scheffler. And then other big names in the tournament is Colin Maracana and Justin Thomas. And they came in with a 4 under par, 67. So that's international sport for today. Hope you have a great sporting weekend. We talk again on Monday. All the best. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome to another exciting edition.
Well, thank you so much, Ari, for that international content. Now, we have come to the end of today's show. We are going to bring you a fresh edition again on Monday. Now, that, of course, will look at the Tour de Windhoek. It will look at some of the cricket action that will be taking place and so much more. So do catch us again on Monday. And that is all from us here from the Sports Rep team. It's goodbye.